Hello my students and welcome to this session. In this session we are going to have a look at summation, notation and series. So before we start I want to show you the constant sequence, and we have studied it in the previous session. What is the constant sequence? If we have a sequence like this sequence here, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, we have 7, and this sequence is finite sequence because I have limited number of terms here. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I ask you to add all these terms, to add 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, okay, plus 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 7. We can, instead of that, multiply 7 times 6, which is 42. What is the summation notation for this sequence? Instead of writing 7 plus 7 plus 7 6 times, we can write it as the sum of r from 1 to 6. So that means we have from 1 to 6 we have 6 terms of 7. So in this case the sum of this sequence, because they are related to each other. So what is the summation notation again? It's the sum of all terms of a sequence. We have r from 1 to 6. We go from 1 to 6. That means from the first term to 6 terms, and all terms are 7s. So you will multiply 7 times 6. So summation of, this is the summation notation, the sum of r from 1 to 8 of 7. What does it mean? That means I want to find the sum of the sequence, okay, in which all terms are 7s, and I want to get the sum of how many terms? 8 terms. So in this case you multiply 7 by 8, which is 56. Let's go to the next one here. If we have a sequence like this one here, what is the meaning of this summation notation here? We call it sigma. So here sum, I want to get the sum from R1. That means the first term, from the first term to n terms. What is n terms? I don't know what is n terms. So in this case we are going to multiply 5 by the number of terms, and this sequence is a constant sequence. So we have 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, if I want to get the sum of this sequence, so you will multiply 5 by the number of terms of this sequence. So instead of writing 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5 n times, we can write this notation, which is the summation of 1 from 1 to n of this sequence. This is a constant sequence, all terms are 5, so it's 5n. And for this one I want to get the sum of -4, the sequence in which all terms are -4 here, from 1 to n. So multiply -4, okay, by the number of terms. It's -4n. So this one here, I want to get the sum, okay, of all terms of the sequence from the first term to the 8th term. And this sequence also is a constant sequence. All terms are 10. So you multiply 10 by 8, it will be 80. So the sum of all terms of any sequence from the first term to the nth term or to n term of C. C is a constant. you will multiply C by N. This is the first series. Here, in this one here. We will study now this sequence. I call it the sequence which terms go up in steps of 1. The terms, all terms go up in steps of 1, like this sequence here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the sequence. They are related to each other, as I said. يعني عشان تفهم the summation notation, you should understand well the sequence. And I'm talking now about this sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. خلي بالك, all terms go up in steps of 1. Okay? So I want to get the sum of all terms of this sequence. So it will be what? This means the sum are from 1 to 6. That means they are 6 terms, starting from the first term. So you will add all of them, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. It will be 21. And there is a rule we can follow to find the sum of this sequence. And we write it as the sum of R. What is R? R like the nth term. Like the nth term. So R is the nth term. What is the nth term of this sequence? The nth term of this sequence, okay, it's n. Or we can write it R. So we call it the nth term or the rth term. So here I want to get the sum of all terms of the sequence starting from 1 to the 6th term. So what is the rule we can follow? We can multiply n. Do you know what is n? N is the 6. Multiplied by n plus 1. N plus 1, you will add 1 to 6. So 6 plus 1 equals what? Equals 7. So it will be 6 times 7, then divide it by 2. This is the rule we follow to find the sum of all terms of a sequence starting from the first term. This is very important. خلي بالك احنا بنبدأ منين؟ بنبدأ من الفيرست term. طيب دي انا بحكي على انهي سيكونس؟ على السيكونس دي definitely اللي هي بتبدأ بايه 1 2 3 4 5 6 and so on، اللي هي اسمها ايه؟ اسمها sequence which terms go up in steps of 1. So here I want to find the sum of the first 6 terms. So we write this is the sigma notation or the sum notation, r from 1 to n, which is n. So n is the number of terms, the last term. N multiplied by n plus 1 divided by 2. And if we applied this rule here, you would get 6 because n here is 6. So 6 multiplied by n plus 1, 6 plus 1, which is 7, okay, divided by 2, it will be 21. Right. Let's have a look at this one here. Pay attention. Here I have a sequence 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. The nth term of this sequence, as here it's n. Okay, because each time we add 1, so it's n. So we can write it the nth term as n or r. Okay, the sum of the terms is, if you want to find the sum of all terms, will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. And instead of that, we can write it as, pay attention, this is very important. We can write it as the sum of this sequence are here, okay, and we start from the first term, which is 1 to 9, okay. So it will be, if we apply the rule instead of adding them, so adding them leads to get 45, but as I said before, I need a rule just to follow. So write this 9, that's n. okay, multiplied by n plus 1. So add 1 to 9, it will be 10. So it's 9 times 10. Then divide by 2. It's 9 times 10 divided by 2, it's 45. And this rule is very, very important. This is the sum of all terms of a sequence starting from the first term to the nth term, so n terms. So here, we'll write this n here, multiplied by n plus 1 divided by 2. That's it. Let's have a look at the sequence here. So this sequence here, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if someone asks you, find the sum of all numbers starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to reach in 100. So here we have 100 terms here, from 1 to 100. So we can apply the rule here. What is the rule? This is the sum of all terms of this sequence, okay, from 1 to 100, and this sequence R. Why R like n? Because the nth term here, the nth term here is n, or we can write it as R, okay? So it will be, write this 100, this is n, write n, multiplied by n plus 1, so it will be 101, then divided by 2, it will be 5,050. ملخص الكلام ده كده بسرعة. احنا بنحسب الصم بتاع السيكونس اللي هي بتمشي 1 2 3 4 5 6. اوكي، ليها رول. What is this rule? Multiply this here from 1 to what? Here from 1 to 100. So 100, okay, multiplied by 101, then divided by 2. طيب, let's have a look at the sequence. بص كده معايا. The sequence here is given as 1, the sequence from 1 to 150. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to find the sum of this sequence. So here you will multiply what? You will multiply 100, okay, 50, because the last term here is 150. And we must start by 1 here, so it's 1 to 150. So what is the rule we follow? It will be 150 multiplied by n plus 1, 151, then divided by 2. It is going to be what? 11,000 here, okay, 325, 11,325. That's it. Let's go to the next one. Here, this is the sequence. I'm focusing on the sequence here. The square number sequence. The square number sequence. Do you know what are the square numbers? It's 1 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 2, 3 to the power of 2, 4 to the power of 2, 5 to the power of 2, and so on. So what is the nth rule for this sequence? The nth rule for this sequence is n to the power of 2 or r to the power of 2. If I asked you to find the sum of all terms here, so instead of saying find the sum of all terms of the sequence, starting from 1 till 7 to the power of 2, from 1 to the power of 2 to 7 to the power of 2, we can write it as using the summation notation. What is the summation notation? It's the sum of this sequence, which is given as r to the power of 2. What is r to the power of 2? This is the nth term, okay, starting from 1 to 7. That means I want to find the sum of all terms here. 1 to the power of 2 plus 2 to the power of 2 plus 3 to the power of 2 till reaching 7 to the power of 2. It will be 140. And we can use this rule. What is this rule? Look at n here. N here is 7. This is the last term, okay, because I want to find the sum of the first 7 terms to reach in 7 to the power of 2. So it will be 7. This is n. multiplied by n plus 1, 7 plus 1. Okay, multiplied by 2 times 7 plus 1, all divided by 6. Okay, so it will be 7 multiplied by 7 plus 1, which is 8, 7 times 8. And multiply this 7 by 2, then add 1. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15, then divide by 6. It will be 140 here. This is the sum. Okay, so what is this rule? ركز معايا في الرول دي كده كويس. احنا هنا الرول دي لما تكون السيكونس the square numbers. This is the sequence. And this sum here, the summation here from 1 to n, and this is r to the power of 2. So I'm talking about the square numbers. It will be n, this n here, okay, keep it with me, multiplied by n plus 1, then multiplied by 2n plus 1. Once again, it's n multiplied by n plus 1, multiplied by 2n plus 1, divided by 6. Okay, so if I want to find, if I have a sequence like this sequence here, if I have a sequence like this one, 1 to the power of 2, pay attention, 1 to the power of 2 plus 2 to the power of 2 plus to reaching 12 to the power of 2. This is the summation, and the sequence I'm talking about, which is 1 to the power of 2, this is the sequence, 2 to the power of 2, 3 to the power of 2, and to reaching 12 to the power of 2. This is the sequence. خلي بالك, this sequence. And as I said, instead of asking about the sum of all these terms, we can use this notation, which is summation. The summation of r from 1 to n. What is n in this case? It's 12. So r from 1, instead of n, you write 12 here. Okay? So n is 12. R to the power of 2. Why r to the power of 2? Because the nth term here is n to the power of 2, or r to the power of 2. So it will be n. What is n? It's 12. Multiplied by 12 plus 1, which is 13. 12 plus 1. Multiplied by 2n plus 1. It's 2 times 12 plus 1. All divided by 6. So it's 12 multiplied by 13 multiplied by 2 times 12, 24 plus 1, 25. All divided by 6. Do it by using the calculator. You will find the sum of all these terms starting from 1 to the power of 2 to reaching 12 to the power of 2. That's it. Here I have a sequence. This is the sequence. You should understand it well. This is the sequence. Let's zoom in here. Okay. The sequence here is given as, pay attention, 1, okay, 4, 9, okay, 16, 25, to reaching, let's say 225. You know what is the nth term of this sequence? The nth term of this sequence is n to the power of 2, or we can say it as r to the power of 2. This is the sequence, n or r to the power of 2. R stands for the order of the term. So if you want to find the first term, T1, if you remember, it's n to the power of 2 or r to the power of 2. It's 1 to the power of 2, which is 1. What is T2 in this case? It's a 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. What is T3? In this case, T3, it's 3 to the power of 2, it's 9. So what is the sequence here is r to the power of 2. And I want to find, what is the question here? The question to find the nth term. This is the nth term. And what is the question? The second question, to find the sum of all these terms here to reach in 25. This is the summation are from 1, and don't say 225. You know, because 225 can be written as 15 to the power of 2. So r from 1 to 15, r to the power of 2. What is the rule we follow here? We will write this 15. We will write this 15 here. Write 15 multiplied by 15 plus 1, which is 16. Then multiply this 15 by 2, then add 1. Do you know why? Because it's n multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by what? 2n plus 1. So it's 15 times 16 times 31, all divided by 6. تاني الكلام ده انا عايز هنا السم بتاع الترمز دي كلها. طب ما دي سكوير نمبر سيكونس اللي هي بنكتبها ايه؟ r to the power of 2 or n to the power of 2. we'll write it as هنكتبها ايه بقى حضرتك؟ احنا عندنا لحد ال 15th term اللي هو term number 15 to the power of 2. خلي بالك pay attention, you must start here by 1 here. لازم تبدأ بال 1. So it will be n مرة تاني multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by 2n plus 1 all divided by 6. Okay, so what is n here is 15. What is n plus 1? 15 plus 1, which is 16 here. What is 2n plus 1? It's 2 times 15 plus 1. 2 times 15 is 30 plus 1 is 31, and don't forget to divide by 6. You will find the sum by using the calculator. Here, let's have a look at these questions here. I want to find the sum of all terms of the sequence here. This is the square number sequence. I want to find the sum of all terms starting from the first term to reaching the 5th term. So we can apply the rule. Or we can substitute if you want to find T1 here, because the series here is a sequence. So I want to find the sum of all terms of a sequence. So what is T1? It's 1 to the power of 2, which is 1. What is T2? It's 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. What is T3? It's 3 to the power of 2, which is 9. And what is T4? It's 4 to the power of 2, which is 16. And what is T5? It will be 5 to the power of 2 is 25. Then you will find T1 plus T2 plus T3 plus T4 plus T5. ده المعنى بتاع the sum or the summation notation here. The summation notation. طب ما هو بدل ما تعمل plus لكل ده ما احنا ممكن we can apply the rule. Here, look here, we have 5. So which rule we are going to apply? This rule, which is n multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by 2n plus 1, all divided by 6. So right here 5 multiplied by n plus 1, which is 6. And 2n plus 1, 2 times 5, 10 plus 1 is 11. Deal with me, divided by 6. It will be 55. هتكون هنا 55. Did you get it? طب this one here. This is, it's not r to the power of 2. This is the sequence which is given as r here. So ignore this 3 now. طيب تعال نحكي لك حكايتها كده ببساطة. انت عارف كده، سيب دي دلوقتي وركز معايا هنا في اللي هنحكي فيه. لو انا سألتك على السميشن، the summation of r and r from 1 to 5, what is the summation of this sequence of all terms starting from 1 to 5? This means it's 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. اوكي، طبعا الكلام ده لازم انت تكون عارف الكلام ده اللي هو اصلا ايه، اللي هو the sum from 1 to 5 here of this sequence. It will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So instead of that we can apply the rule. انت عارف الرول هنا ايه بقى؟ It's n multiplied by n plus 1 all divided by 2 اللي هي ايه حضرتك؟ 5 multiplied by n plus 1 6 divided by 2 تطلع 15. طيب تعالى هنا ركز بس معايا. I want to find the sum of all terms of the sequence. This sequence is given as 3R, starting from 1 to 5 here. So we can write this sequence as it's a 3 multiplied by the sum of all terms of the sequence are from 1 to 5, and you can write here R. Okay, so it's 3 multiplied by, this 3 is multiplied by all the sum of all these terms here, which is R. So we can apply this rule here, which is n multiplied by n plus 1 divided by 2. What is n here? N is 5. This is n. So it will be 5 times 6 here, then divided by 2. It will be 1 and here 3. It's 15 times 3. It will be 45. That's it. Let's go to the next one. بص كده معايا. في عندنا هنا احنا لازم نبدأ بال1 على فكرة. يعني to apply this rule we must start here by 1. وادي هنا n. طب n دي انا مش عارف n بكام. طيب what about this 12? 12 ده نعمل فيها ايه؟ Write it as 12 multiplied by the sum of this sequence r to the power of 2 are from 1 to n. It will be 12. خلي بالك بقى. What is the rule we are going to follow? It will be n multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by 2n plus 1 all divided by 6 here. طبعا حد يقول لي يا مستر طب هنا مش كاتب n. خلاص هو مديها لك كده n يعني يعني مش مديك اخر ترم ايه في السيكونس. فانا كتبت 12 هنا. كل الفكره هنا في 12 هنكتبها بره السيكونس. هكتبها كده in front of the sum here. طيب we can simplify divide by 6 1 and divided by 6 2. It will be 2n multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by 2n plus 1. تمام. Let's go to the next example. This example here I have r from the sum from 1 to n. Okay, so what shall we do here? Actually we have 2r and we have 3. So we can split into the sum of r from 1 to n of this sequence 2r plus the sum of 3r from 1 to n. What about the first one here? What about this 2? We can write it as 2 multiplied by the sum of r from 1 to n of r plus the sum of 3n times. It will be 3n. So that leads to get. Here we have r. So it will be 2 here multiplied by n plus 1 all divided by 2 plus 3n. Okay, this 2 here in front of the sum. Okay, do you with me? So cancel 2 and 2. You will end up with 2n multiplied by n plus 1 plus 3n. Okay, and n times n, it's n to the power of 2 plus n times 1. Just I'm expanding n times 1, it's n plus 3n. We ended up with n to the power of 2 plus 4n. That's it. I want to find the sum of all terms of this sequence here. R to the power of 2 plus 3r minus 7 and r from 1 to 6. So I'm going to split this expression here into the sum of r from 1 to 6, okay, to this sequence which is r to the power of 2 plus 3 the sum of 3r r from 1 to 6, okay, and plus the sum of r from 1 to 6 to this term here, negative 7. So as you see here, I wrote it as r to the power of 2 because r to the power of 2 has a rule and r has a rule and negative 7 has a rule. What is the next step? It will be, here we have r to the power of 2. What is the rule of r to the power of 2? خلي بالك لازم ده يكون 1. لازم ده يكون ايه 1. تمام هو 1 فعلا. So what is the rule here for r to the power of 2؟ it's n، هفكرك multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by 2n plus 1. انا بتعمد اقول لك القانون كذا مره علشان خاطر all divided by 6 علشان خاطر تذاكروا معايا في السيشن. تمام. طيب it will be here we have 6 okay multiplied by this is n here, this is n 6 and multiplied by n plus 1, 6 plus 1 it will be 7 multiplied by 2n plus 1, 2 times 6 12 plus 1 13. okay all divided by 6 plus we have here 3r. 3r has a rule. what is the rule of 3r؟ ال 3 دي هعمل فيها ايه في الاول؟ هكتبها كده 3 and the sum of 3 دي it's 3 multiplied by what is the rule of r if we have summation of r from 1 to 6 here? it will be n multiplied by n plus 1 divided by 2. so it will be 6 multiplied by n plus 1 it's 7 and divided by 2 plus here we have here a sequence all terms are -7 and I want to find the sum of the first 6 terms. so it will be -7 times 6. طبعا حضرتك هتستخدم الكالكوليتر او ممكن من غير الكالكوليتر اهو cancel 7 and 7 7 times 3 7 times 3 is 21 carry up to it will be 91 plus here cancel 2 and here is 3 3 times 3 9 9 times 7 is 63 and we have here -42 then add all of them. let's go to the next example here. تعالى بقى عشان خاطر الموضوع ده فيه شغل شويه بقى. تبص عندك هنا what is the problem here؟ ايه المشكله اللي عندك هنا؟ انت عندك هنا 9 تمام 2 12. انت عارف هنا I want to find the sum of all terms of the sequence. لا مش all terms لا خالص. from the 9th term to the 12th term. so we can find if r equals 9. okay what is the term when r equals 9? it will be 5 times 9 minus 3 it's 45 minus 3 which is 42 and r equals 10. okay so it's 5 times 10 minus 3 it will be 50 minus 3 47 and when r equals 11 it will be انت معايا 5 times 11 okay minus 3 55 minus 3 هتكون حضرتك كده 52 وبعدين يا مستر when r equals 12 it will be what here it's 5 times 12 minus 3 60 minus 3 it will be 57. تمام this here this is the rule of the sequence and I want to find all these terms the sum of all these terms. so we can find the sum by adding 42 plus 47 plus 52 okay plus 57. that's it. by using the calculator you can find the sum. طيب انا عايز دلوقتي اقول لك على موضوع مهم خالص لازم تاخد بالك منه. لو انا سألتك سؤال بالشكل ده if I have a question like this one here I want to find the sum or from let's say 6 okay here to 15 of r. انت عارف ايه r from 6 to 15 from the 6th term here. طب ازاي يا مستر دي؟ ما هتلاقي حد متسرع بقى يقول لك ايه نستخدم الرول يا مستر. الله يبارك لك ما انت قلت لنا عليها اللي هي n times n plus 1 over 2 تمام. ومكان ال n يا مستر نكتب 15 times 16 divided by 2 هتطلع معاك على الكالكوليتر. ده كلام سليم، بس لازم الار هنا تكون 1. يعني ايه ار from 1؟ from the first term. طب دي احلها ازاي؟ دي تحلها ازاي؟ دي ممكن تعمل كده the sum r from 1 to 15 تمام minus the sum okay of r from 1 to 5. ايه يا مستر الكلام ده؟ ما انا هنا عايز من السيكث تيرم، يعني السيكونس ماشيه كده first second third fourth fifth sixth seventh eighth ninth 10th 11th 12th 13th 14th 15th. ركز بس معايا كده في الكلام ده. If you applied this rule here, you will find the sum of all terms starting from the first term ending in the 15th term. أنا مش عايز كده. I want to find from the 6th term here. I want to find the sum from first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth here. So I want to find the sum starting from the 6th term, okay, to reaching the 15th term. All terms here. أنت عايز السم من هنا لهنا. فأنت هتعمل إيه؟ What is the idea? We can think about it. We can find the sum of all terms at the very beginning, okay? Firstly, find the sum of all terms. And after that, subtract the sum of the first 5 terms, as I did here. So it's r from 1 to 15, and here we have r, okay? So when using this notation, we will find the sum of all terms starting from the first term and ending in the 15th term. Then you will subtract the sum of the first 5 terms from the first to the 5th here. Okay? So applying this rule leads to get what here? Leads to get it's 15 times 16 divided by 2. يا مستر ده n times n plus 1 divided by 2. فين ال n؟ ما هي ال n حضرتك n is 15 multiplied by n plus 1 16 divided by 2 minus here n is given as what? As 5. So 5 times n plus 1. خلي بالك دي لازم تكون 1 وهي 1 فعلا. 5 times 6 divided by 2. تمام؟ So by using the calculator ممكن حضرتك تطلع الكالكوليتر divide by 2 هنا 1 وادي هنا 8 هنا 1 وهنا 3 تمام multiply here it will be 120 minus here is 15 it will be 105. That's it. أو ممكن تستعمل calculator و skip all these steps. طيب تعال نشوف سؤال تاني. بص كده. طبعا الموضوع هنا seems to be complicated. عارف ليه seems to be complicated? Because we have here 6. It's not 1. طيب how can we deal with it? We can write it as, okay, we can find the sum of all terms from 1 to 18 r to the power of 2 minus 2r. Then you will subtract the sum r from 1 to 5 of all terms of the sequence. مش فاهم يا مستر بتحكي عن ايه؟ هقول لك تاني ببساطه بنحكي عن ايه. خد نفس عميق كده بس وركز معايا. احنا هنا عندنا هنا ايه؟ 6. So I want to find the sum of terms from what? From the 6th term. طيب ما مش هينفع استخدم اي رول، فانا قلت ايه؟ قلت لا احنا ممكن نحسب السم من ال 1 to 18 من الاول ترم لحد ال 18 ترم وبعدين you will subtract from 1 to 5 من اول ترم لحد ال 5th ترم. تمام؟ طيب how can we deal with it؟ ما الموضوع هنا كده سهل. هنعمل كده sum و r from 1 to 18. طبعا انا شايف في ناس شغاله معايا وطلعت الكابو بوك وبتحل طبعا اكيد خطوه بخطوه. وهنا هنكتب r to the power of 2 تمام minus 2 the sum of r from 1 to 18 وهنا هنكتب r تمام minus طيب ماينس هنا هنكتب ايه بقى؟ the sum of r from 1 to 5 of r to the power of 2. ما تنساش البراكتس. ماينس هنا 2r يبقى هنكتب هنا 2 the sum of r. تمام؟ r from 1 to 5. بص بقى هتستخدم الكالكوليتر على طول لان انت شاطر وعارف هتعمل ايه. هنا هتكتب هنا ايه بقى؟ فاكر الرول معايا؟ طب افكرك بيها عشان انا ضميري يكون مرتاح. هنا r to the power of 2 يبقى القانون ايه؟ طيب what is the rule؟ it's n. تمام؟ multiplied by n plus 1 multiplied by 2n plus 1 معايا divided by 6. ده بالنسبه ل r to the power of 2. فهتكون ايه؟ 18 this is n multiplied by n plus 1 which is 19. تمام؟ multiplied by 2n plus 1. 2 times 18 is 36 and plus 1 37 all divided by 6 minus here 2. ال 2 دي ماليش دعوه بيها خالص، دي multiplied by here 2r. برضو عشان ضميري يكون مرتاح هفكرك بالرول بتاع الار. انت عارف الار لها قانون لما تكون summation of r كده بتكون ايه؟ n multiplied by ايه؟ n plus 1 divided by ايه؟ 2. طب فين ال n سيادتك هنا؟ ال n هنا اللي هي 18. طيب يبقى 18 2 times هنا 18 n plus 1 19 divided by 2. طيب minus here نفس الكلام بالظبط هتكون ايه؟ هنا عندي ال n is 5 وهنا r to the power of 2 so it will be 5 that's n plus 1 معايا 5 plus 1 is going to be 6 and 2n plus 1 2 times 5 10 plus 1 11 all divided by 6 minus 2. Okay, here we have summation of here 5 so it will be the sequence here is r so 2 times 5 n plus 1 6 divided by 2. طبعا سيادتك بالكالكوليتر وهتحسب الكلام ده، فانا هكتب على الكالكوليتر عندي كده وانت اكتب معايا برضو على الكالكوليتر ونتاكد مع بعض كده. 18 اهو times 19 times 37 all divided by 6 minus here we have fraction, right? fraction 2 times 18 times 19 all divided by 2 وهنا minus. تمام. right here 5 times 6 times 11 all divided by 6. تمام. وهنا minus brackets هنا minus وفراكشن 2 times 5 times 6 all divided by 2. طبعا ايه انت ما تعبش نفسك، انت تستخدم الكالكوليتر. It will be 1742 وتأكد كده برضو انت بالكالكوليتر احسن اكون انا غلطت يعني. تمام. طيب طبعا حد يسألني يا مستر هي ملهاش طريقة بالكالكوليتر؟ ليها طريقة بالكالكوليتر. اقول لك على طريقة الكالكوليتر كده بسرعة. بص كده سيادتك في عندك sum لو انت clicked if you clicked shift and look here you'll find sum وهتلاقي كده عند السم هنا وهنا كده وهنا كده على الكالكوليتر. هنا هتكتب الفا here لو انت عايز x هنا r اللي هي r to the power of 2 r سوري. فازاي تكتب r على الكالكوليتر اللي هي الفا كليك الفا اوكي and brackets هتكتب لك هنا x وهنا هتكتب التيرمز اللي انت عايزها. مثلا انت عايز sum of r ماشي r من 1 لحد 12 فكليك on the calculator shift look you will find the summation notation here and write here r from what to what. here هتكتب هنا 1 وهنا 12 instead of r مكان ال r هتكتب x and click equals. بس كده خلاص we are about to finish. use the summation notation sigma to write each of the following series. I have 1 times 2, okay, plus 2 times 3, plus 3 times 4, and plus 4 times 5. انت هتفكر في سيادتك، فكر في السيكونس نفسها. The first term here T1, the first term here is 1 times 2. طب what is the second term? The second term is T2 is 2 times 3. طب ما اعملش تايمز يا مستر؟ لا ما تعملش تايمز، لان هي the sequence is following a pattern. Here we have 1. You know this one here, this one is n. Okay, and this 2 here is n plus 1. Okay, we can write instead of n we can write r multiplied by r plus 1. ايه اللي بتعمله ده يا مستر؟ ما هو احنا في السيريز بنكتب instead of n we write r. Okay, so I want to find till what. مش عارف till what. So here it will be the sum. I want to find the sum r from 1 to n of all terms of the sequence, which is r multiplied by r plus 1. طيب ده اللي هو the summation notation. Instead of writing plus we can write the sum. Okay. طيب حاول كده تشوف السؤال ده. The next question here. We have here 3. Okay. And we have here the next one is 1. واللي بعدها هتكون 1 over 3 وبعدها 1 over 9. طيب what is the sequence here? I want to find the sum of all terms. 3 plus 1 plus 1 over 3 and plus 1 over 9. So first of all, they are 4 terms. Okay, they are 4 terms. And the sequence, the first term is 3 and the second term is 1. So what is the nth term of this sequence? You know, if you tried many times, you'll find it's a 3 over, we can say n minus or 2 minus n. Let's check it. If I asked you about the first term, it's 3 times 2 minus 1, so T1 equals 3. Okay, and if you check the T2, the second term, it's 3 to the power of 2 minus 2, which is T2 equals 3 to the power of 0, which is 1. As you see here, T2, the second term is 1. And if you check the T3, the third term, it's 3 to the power of 2 minus 3, which is 3 to the power of negative 1 equals 1/3. So that's right. The sequence is 3 to the power of 2 minus n. And they are 4 terms. So we'll write the sigma here. The summation of terms from 1, okay, to 4, because they are 4 terms, and the sequence is given as 3. This is the nth term, 3 to the power of 2 minus n. That's it. Now we reach to the end of the session. I hope you enjoyed this session and see you in the coming episodes. Goodbye.